Beijing has tightened the C-19 epidemic prevention and control measures after new reports of local infections in Beijing. China Daily reports that several local patients have recently emerged in the district of Chaoyang, Xizang, and Suni in Beijing, sounding the alarm bell again. Zhejiang's situation is more awful than any other cities. 234 people were infected in the last 5 days, including 51 infections on January 6. Inspections are underway for all citizens of Zhejiang, and more than 3,000 medical staff are coming from all over the country. Against this backdrop, Chinese vaccination against their citizens have entered a new phase. Beijing says it has inoculated more than 73,000 people on January 1st. That was the first 2 days after China's first domestic C-19 vaccine was approved for commercial use in China. And China is planning to vaccinate 50 million people before the Lunar New Year holiday in February. Also, China has been publicly promoting the effect of its own Sinopharm vaccine. However, incidents related to the Chinese vaccine Sinopharm continue to occur. Recently, 16 employees of a Chinese state-run company in Africa were reported to have been infected, even 3 of them after being vaccinated with Sinopharm. There was a post in the China's SNS about before they left China, they had been vaccinated with Sinopharm's vaccine under the Chinese government order. But soon all the posts were deleted. Also, 300 employees of Tianjin Electric Power Corporation, who went to work in the Eastern European city of Pančepoce in Serbia, got infected after the Sinopharm vaccination. Of course, the Tianjin Electric Power and Sinopharm did not say anything to this incident. In addition, the Chinese embassy in Uganda reported in early December that 47 Chinese migrant workers there had tested positive for C-19 after being vaccinated. Despite the number of incidents, China is rushing to mass produce its vaccines. This situation also raises fears by some health experts that China may be trying to continue vaccine diplomacy with the developing countries. Vaccine production in China is enormous. China National Biotech Group Company, a subsidiary of Chinese pharmaceutical company Sinopharm, stated, "With the completion of the new vaccine manufacturing facility, we will have an annual production capability of 1 billion C-19 vaccines in 2021. Another Chinese vaccine company, Sinovac, also completed its second vaccine production facility in December, increasing its annual production capacity to 600 million doses. Against this backdrop, China is preparing for vaccine diplomacy. In order to meet global demands, they not only ensure the sufficient production capacities for vaccines, but also promise to developing countries vaccines first and pay later. This appears to be an attempt to expand China's influence on the international stage by tapping into developing countries that have fallen behind in the competition for vaccines. In fact, Xi Jinping mentioned his plan to ship vaccines to the world at the WHO's annual general meeting in May. He also promised to distribute the Chinese vaccine during the summit talk with African leaders. He even said that, after China's vaccine development is complete, we will use our vaccine as a global public good to help developing countries.
将作为全球公共产品，优先向发展中国家提供。
With the ability to manufacture vaccines on a large scale, China continues to step up their efforts to sell these vaccines. At present, China's main focus is on countries for which vaccines are not easily accessible and which therefore depends on cheap prices, convenient to easy transportation, and lower cost storage of Chinese vaccines. Chinese vaccines cost around $30 per dose, making them cheaper than others such as the US vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna. According to China, Sinopharm and Sinovac vaccines are known to have no quality issue, even when stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, which is similar to normal refrigerator temperatures. However, Moderna should be stored at minus 20 degrees Celsius and Pfizer at minus 75 degrees Celsius. Compared to the other two vaccines in terms of storage and transportation, the Chinese vaccine is more attractive to developing countries for which it is difficult to provide large-scale cooling facilities. In fact, Chinese vaccines are already being used mainly in developing countries. They are used in Africa and South America, which have already received a large investment from China, but a number of side effects have already occurred starting in Peru and Brazil. The amount of vaccines China has decided to export to overseas exceeded 400 million doses, according to the South China Morning Post. The United Arab Emirates were the first to approve the Sinopharm's vaccine for commercial use in early December. Bahrain quickly followed, and a handful of countries have already placed the order for Sinopharm vaccines, including Pakistan and Ukraine, Egypt, Mexico, Morocco, Chile, Malaysia, Turkey, etc. If the effective vaccines could help many people to leave this pandemic behind, then it's good. But the question arises, how safe are Chinese and other vaccines really? China continues to claim its vaccine has no side effects, despite Western medical staff and experts not believing China's announcement. In fact, the Sinopharm CEO Liu Wang officially announced last November that they had vaccinated more than 1 million doses to its citizens without any side effects. SARS hero Zhong Nanshan also praised the Chinese vaccine.
我们中国呢，这个疫苗研发的比较早，在全世界也算比较早的。现在我们出的这个已经有结果了啊，多个国家都证明了第一安全。
However, it is impossible for a drug or vaccine to have zero side effects. So what about the previous Chinese vaccine situation? In 2018, the Chinese authorities discovered that the Chinese pharmaceutical companies Changsang Biotechnology and Wuhan Institute of Biological Products were producing a large number of defective DPT and rabies vaccines. At the time, more than 900,000 defective vaccines were injected and numerous cases of side effects were noted across China. Given the current information and circumstances, no one can predict what will happen when a Chinese vaccine is used and distributed worldwide. With the clear aim of gaining diplomatic advantages through vaccine diplomacy, China is taking benefits of the disadvantages of other countries that have no choice but to work with China.
将作为全球公共产品，优先向发展中国家提供。
The last video you will see is a report from the Chinese media about Dr. Li Woliang last year. He was a Chinese doctor known to have drawn attention to Wuhan pneumonia early on December 30, 2019 in Wuhan. When he first informed the government of the danger, the Chinese government arrested him allegedly providing false information and causing unrest in society.
1号傍晚，武汉市公安局官方微博发布消息称，关于当前武汉市肺炎疫情的情况，8名散布谣言者被依法查处。通报称，近期我市部分医疗机构发现接诊了多例肺炎病例，市卫健委就此发布了情况通报。北京网民在不经核实的情况下，在网络上发布、转发不实信息，造成不良社会影响。 公安机关经调查核实，已经传唤8名违法人员，并依法进行了处理。同时，警方提示，网络不是法外之地，希望广大网民遵守相关法律法规。不造谣，不信谣，不传谣，共建和谐清朗的网络空间。
Even a year after this incident, China seems to have learned nothing from it and does not want to change anything. What do you think about this video? Thanks for watching, your comments and likes. Be safe.